next topic in Unit 5 is arithmetic sequences, scatterplots, and line of best fit. So we're going to start with arithmetic sequence. A sequence is a set of numbers in a specific order. If the difference between successive terms is constant, then the sequence is called an arithmetic sequence, and we'll look at that in a little bit. The constant rate that an arithmetic sequence increases or decreases is called the common difference. So whatever rate we increase or decrease by, if it's the same each time, it's called the common difference. So let's look down at example 1. It says the table shows heights above and below ground at different floor levels in a 25-story building. Determine the pattern and generate a rule to complete the table. So the first thing we're going to do is look at these bottom numbers. And we're going to see, because in our top it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so they're successive numbers. So we're going to look and see if each time we move a spot, is the rate constant? So do we have a common difference? So to get from -4 to 9, we add 13. To get from 9 to 22, we add 13. To get from 22 to 35, we add 13. Okay, so it looks like we have a common difference here. And we're going to set this problem up like a slope-intercept form. So each time we increased, my constant rate was 13, which is going to be our slope. And then I need to look at this point right here, which tells me my y-intercept. If x is 0, y is -4. Okay. We could have also found the slope by picking 2 points, so I just want to go back and show you that really quickly. If I pick these 2 points right here, I have my y values on the bottom, so y2 minus y1 over, and then I have my x values, x2 minus x1. So this becomes a plus. 9 plus 4 is 13 over 1. 13 divided by 1 is 13. So again, we just found the slope. It's just the constant rate of change. So this is the equation we need to use in order to find the missing terms. So if I were to label these rows, my top row is my x and my bottom row are the y values. So this is saying when x is 4, what does y equal? And if we plug that into our calculator, 13 times 4 is 52, and 52 minus 4 gives me 48. So my missing value is 48. Then I plug 10 in for x, so 13 times 10 is 130. 130 minus 4 gives me 126. For my next missing value, what value do they give me, x or y? They give me a height of 217. So in this case, I'm plugging 217 in for y. 217 equals 13x minus 4. And now I need to solve for x. I need to figure out the floor number. So I add 4 to both sides, which gives me 221, and then divide by 13. 221 divided by 13 gives me an answer of 17. Okay. And then for the last one, it gives us an x value, so we plug that in for x. 13 times 25 minus 4 gives us 321. So that's our last missing term. If you don't understand where these numbers came from, please pause your video and make sure you ask questions so we can explain further, because it will show up on your test and on your next quiz. Otherwise, we will move to example 2. Determine the pattern and generate a rule to find the missing value. So if we look at these, to get from 7 to 12, I do what? I add 5. To get from 12 to 17, what do? Add 5. So what do you think we're going to do to get to the next number? Add 5. 17 plus 5 is 22. Okay, and that rule still works. 22 plus 5 is 27. 27 plus 5 gives me 32. Plus 5 again, 32 plus 5 would give me 37. Still works. And then 42 plus 5 gives me 47. So each time our constant, our common difference was a plus 5. Okay. Now looking at example B, how do I get from 5 to 1? This time I'm subtracting 4. To get from 1 to negative 3, I subtract 4. So negative 3 minus 4 would give me a negative 7. Negative 15 minus 4 would give me a negative 19. Again, I'm going to keep subtracting 4. Negative 19 minus 4, and then negative 23. And then negative 27 minus 4 would give me a negative 31. If you have questions about how we got those, please make sure you pause your video before moving on. Otherwise, we will go look at scatter plots, which is our next section. We know that in general, a line with a positive slope looks like this. And in general, a line with a negative slope looks like this. So now we're going to talk about scatter plots, which are sets of data all together. A scatter plot is a set of ordered pairs. Correlation means how the points in the scatter plot are related to each other. So they won't necessarily form a line with a nice, even slope, but they will form a trend. They will correlate. Okay, so looking at this first one, we can see if I drew a line going through here, I'd have what type of slope in general? Positive. But do you see how I didn't connect all the dots, but I got most of them? So they're trending, the correlation is positive. In example 2, I can see if I draw a line, I have a negative correlation. Now in example 3, they're all over the place. I can't really draw a nice, neat line to connect them. So there is no trend in this one. There's no correlation. Okay, so let's go look at the next page. We need to figure out what types of correlation these have. So looking at example 1, could I draw a positive or negative slope to more or less follow the trend of these lines, of these points rather? No, so there is no trend here. In example 2, we connect them with a negative slope, so the correlation is negative. And then looking at example 3, I have a positive correlation. If you have questions about scatter plots, please make sure you pause your video before moving on. Otherwise, we will go look at our next section, which is line of best fit. So today we're going to work on approximating a line of best fit. So the first thing you do is draw a scatter plot of the data. So we're going to put all our ordered pairs onto our coordinate plane. Then we're going to sketch the line that appears to follow most closely the trend given by the data points. There should be about as many points above the line as below it. Okay, and that gives you a pretty good approximation. Then you're going to choose 2 points on the line and estimate the coordinates of each point. Then you're going to write an equation of the line that passes through the points from step 3. And we'll go through these steps looking at example 1. So in example 1, it says the table below gives the number of people Y who attended each of the first 7 football games X of the season. Approximate the line of best fit. So again, our step 1 was to draw a scatter plot of the data. So I need to scroll down here. We need to put these on our graph. So at 1, my Y value is 722. At 2, it's 763. And again, we're just approximating these. At 3, it's 772. 4 is 826. 5 is 815. 6 is at 857. And 9 is at 897. Now again, I can't connect these with a nice line. I can't put all the points on the line, but I can approximate where I could draw a line. So I'm going to go through right about, sorry, it's a little bumpy, but I have approximately the same number above and below the line, okay? And if I look at this, it's a good approximation. So now I'm going to choose 2 points on the line. So I'm going to pick 722, I'm sorry, 1 722, and 3 772. Okay, so those are the 2 points I'm going to pick. Then I'm going to write the equation of the line that passes through those points. So in order to write the equation of a line, we're going to put it in y equals mx plus b. That's what they want. So in order to find m, using those 2 points, 772 minus 722 over 3 minus 1. So 772 minus 722 would give me 50. And 3 minus 1 gives me 2. 50 divided by 2 is 25. So I have an m. Now I need to figure out b. So I'm going to use this first point in order to find b. So I have x and y. So 722, I'm just plugging this into this equation right here. Y equals, my slope was 25, my x value in that ordered pair is 1, plus b, 25 times 1 is 25. In order to solve for b, I subtract 25 from both sides, which gives me b equals 697. So now I have an m and I have a b, so I can write the equation of my line. Y equals 25x plus 697. Y equals 25x plus 697. And on your U-Dos, I will give you specific points to use. So I will tell you which 2 points on your graph that you should use. If you have questions, again, we're just approximating today. So we are approximating that line of best fit. All right, so before you start your U-Dos, I need to tell you which points to use. So for number 1, I want you to put a little star next to the bottom 2 points. So you're going to plot those points. You need to sketch the scatter plot. Tell me if it's positive or negative correlation, and then write the equation of the line using those 2 points. And then on example 2, I want you to use the first 2 points. That's what you're going to use to write the equation of your line. If you have questions about what that means, raise your hand before you start so we can help you. Otherwise, you can go ahead and get started.